Next launch in 6 to 8 weeks? 6 to 8 weeks? Is that doable, or has Elon completely lost his mind now? Let's find out in today's episode. Hello and welcome back to Alex SpaceX Talks. Well, what a historic moment that was for all the SpaceX nerds, witnessing the first fully integrated test flight of Starship out of Boca Chica, Texas. Now that the dust at Starbase has settled and SpaceX conducted their damage assessment of the launch site, as well as processed a complete data analysis, let's have a detailed look together with Elon Musk at what exactly went wrong during the test flight and when we can expect the next one to happen. Elon Musk gave an inspiring talk on Starship's first test flight on Twitter on Saturday. He spoke for about 1 hour and said that the first integrated test flight of Starship met his expectations despite a cascading series of engine failures and other malfunctions that eventually caused the rocket to lose control. The outcome was roughly sort of what I expected and maybe slightly exceeded my expectations, he said. Those expectations, he said, were that the vehicle would get clear of the pad and get significant data during the flight, including through maximum dynamic pressure or max-Q. Overall, I actually feel like that was a great flight, he said. Musk offered a recap of the flight, noting that the problems began immediately at liftoff when 3 of the 33 Raptor engines in the vehicle's Super Heavy booster either failed to start or aborted during startup. At T plus 27 seconds, a Raptor lost communications and something broke off part of the heat shield around that engine and 3 others. At that point, there were visible fires coming through the aft section end of the rocket. At T plus 62 seconds, there was additional heat shield damage around another Raptor, although that engine continued to operate. At T plus 85 seconds, things really hit the fan, he said, with the loss of the communication with another engine. Roughly from this point onwards, we lost vector control of the rocket, he said, meaning it could no longer steer. SpaceX made no attempt to separate the Starship upper stage from the Super Heavy vehicle as it tumbled in later stages of flight. Musk said while controllers initiated the flight termination system, it took much longer than expected, about 40 seconds for explosives to rupture the vehicle's tanks. Requalifying that flight termination system will be the long lead item for the next launch, he predicted, with the next vehicle and repaired pad likely ready in 6 to 8 weeks. Hopefully we'll be ready to fly again in a couple of months, he said. Musk played down the damage to the pad itself, including concrete debris scattered over nearly 400 acres around the pad. The debris was basically sand and rocks, he said, but we don't want to do that again. Changes to the pad include placing a water jacket steel sandwich below the launch mount. He said SpaceX will also be replacing damaged tanks in the tank farm at the pad that were already set to be swapped out with vacuum jacketed versions. The launch tower itself suffered no meaningful damage, he added. The next launch will use Booster 9, but he said the company had not decided which of the Starship upper stages will fly. The engines on Booster 9, which is next, are much newer and more consistent and with significant reliability improvements. He was optimistic that the second launch will get at least through stage separation. Our goal for the next flight is to make it to staging and hopefully succeed in staging and get to orbit, he said. I think we've got a decent shot of getting to orbit on the next flight, he added. Musk estimated SpaceX will attempt 4 to 5 Starship launches this year. I would be surprised if we exit this year without getting to orbit, he said. He also mentioned that the company will spend about $2 billion this year on Starship, which he argued the company can support without raising outside funding. The space on Twitter ended with Elon Musk saying there will be another update in about 3 weeks. Well, that were some interesting news and insights from Elon himself. In my opinion, a test flight this year might be doable, but I wouldn't bet much on it. However, the current not so severe damage report and knowing that the SpaceX crew is working relentlessly on bringing Starship to orbit keeps me optimistic. That was all for today, folks. I'll keep you posted in my next video. In the meantime, I wish you a wonderful week and see you soon. Ciao.
Egyptian builders